In Lesson 212, you created an HTML form that sent, or posted, data to another page. ASP.NET normally uses a form to post data back to the same page. This is called PostBack. You learned earlier that JavaScript is client-side code, while the C# in code behind files is server-side code. Server-side code can only be run when the browser posts back to the server. One advantage of this is that server-side code can't be seen by visitors to your site. C# server-side code can also do some things that JavaScript can't, such as accessing a database. The downside of PostBack is that the user has to send a request back to the server every time they want the page to update, and the whole page has to be reloaded. If you have large pages, this can make them significantly slower. JavaScript can change pages without posting back to the server, which makes it much faster. However, it is less secure than server-side code and has some limitations. Using web services, it is possible for JavaScript and C# to work together and only update certain parts of the page. This is known as Ajax. Ajax isn't covered by this course, but you can learn all about it in the Expert Skills course in this series. By using PostBack, the user sends data to your website without moving between pages. ASP.NET's controls expect this, and you can use it to your advantage. First, open the C# test sample file from your sample files folder. And open the code behind file of postbacktest.aspx. You're now going to see PostBack in action. First, view PostBack test in your browser. And click the button that says Click Me. You'll notice a brief flicker as the page reloads. This is because the page's form was submitted and the data was posted back. Next, try choosing an item from the drop-down list. You'll notice that this time there was no flicker. By default, changing the value of a drop-down doesn't cause the form to be submitted. Try clicking the checkbox, and you'll see that this doesn't cause a postback either. Close your web browser now. You're now going to add some code to the page load event handler to check if the page has posted back. Label is postback.text equals page.isPostback.toString. Page.isPostback is a value that tells you whether the page has been posted back. ToString converts the value into text. View the page in your browser again, and you'll see that the label at the top of the page says false. This means that the page currently hasn't been posted back. The user has just loaded the page and hasn't clicked on any controls yet. Click the button, and the label changes to say true. This means that the user has submitted the form and posted back some data. This is useful because it allows you to make some of your code only run when the user has posted back. You'll see how this can be done in Lesson 7.1. Close your browser now. Earlier in this lesson, you saw that the drop-down list and checkbox controls don't automatically post back when you click on them. If your page needs to be updated when the user changes one of these controls, you might want them to post back. Fortunately, it can be done. Open postbacktest.aspx in Design View. Select the drop-down list control and set its Auto PostBack property to true. You learned about changing properties in Lesson 112. View the page in your browser now. Try changing the value of the drop-down list, and you'll see that this time the page posts back, and the label at the top confirms this. The Auto PostBack property is available on most controls that don't automatically post back. In the HTML form you created in Lesson 212, the only way to submit the form was to click a button. In this lesson, you've seen that ASP.NET can submit its form when other things happen. It does this by automatically generating JavaScript code to submit the form. If you view the source of the page by right-clicking and clicking View Source, you can see that ASP.NET has added lines with JavaScript:"do postback." This JavaScript causes the form to be submitted. Because JavaScript is client-side code, you should always be aware that someone browsing your site might have disabled JavaScript, in which case the postback will not work. Close your web browser and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 3.8. Understand PostBack.